I'm a professor of computer science and have spent the last 10 years studying the electronic voting systems that our nation relies on. My conclusion from that work is that our highly computerized election infrastructure is vulnerable to sabotage and even to cyber attacks that could change votes. These realities risk making our election results more difficult for the American people to trust. I know America's voting machines are vulnerable because my colleagues and I have hacked them repeatedly as part of a decade of research studying the technology that operates elections and learning how to make it stronger. We've created attacks that can spread from machine to machine like a computer virus and silently change election outcomes. We've studied touchscreen and optical scan systems, and in every single case, we've found ways for attackers to sabotage machines and to steal votes. These capabilities are certainly within reach for America's enemies. As you know, states choose their own voting technology, and while some states are doing well with security, others are alarmingly vulnerable. This puts the entire nation at risk. In close elections, an attacker can probe the most important swing states or swing counties, find areas with the weakest protection, and strike there. In a close election year, changing a few votes in key localities could be enough to tip national results. The key lesson from 2016 is that these threats are real. Some say the fact that voting machines aren't directly connected to the internet makes them secure, but unfortunately this is not true. Voting machines are not as distant from the internet as they may seem. So the way these attacks work is that before every election, every voting machine needs to be programmed with the design of the ballot, the names of the races and candidates. And voting officials do that by inserting a memory card into the machine. If an attacker can infect that memory card with malicious code, well, when the memory card is inserted into the machine, it can change the programming running on the voting machine and cause the voting machine to, at the end of the election, output whatever results the attacker wants. But that's just hacking an individual machine. How hard would it be to actually change the results of a major election by hacking individual machines? Well, that ballot programming is created on basically a desktop PC, a workstation somewhere operated by the county or by an outside vendor. If an attacker can infect that election programming workstation called an election management system, and in many cases these are connected to the internet, well, then that attack can spread to all of the memory cards that are used to program voting machines in that jurisdiction. This is more pernicious because it's potentially an invisible kind of attack.
When you and your colleagues hacked election systems, did you get caught?
We hacked election systems as part of academic research where we had machines in our facilities.
I get that. Did you get caught? Did they see your intrusion into their systems?
The one instance when I was invited to hack a real voting system while people were watching was in Washington, D.C. in 2010. And in that instance, it took less than 48 hours for us to change all the votes, and we were not caught.